The MELLO TV Evening News at 8 is brought to you by the Ministry of Health and Wellness.
Coronavirus is in Jamaica, and I know you feel scared and worried. But you can't let COVID-19 divide us. Coronavirus infects all kinds of people. It doesn't discriminate. So why should you? When someone coughs or sneezes or shows signs of the virus, tell them to call 888-1-LOVE immediately. And remember, stay 3 feet away, but don't attack or disrespect them, because we're all in this thing together. Come on, Jamaica, cut the hate and don't discriminate. Let us stand together and fight COVID-19 as one family, one nation.
Tonight, 5 additional COVID-19 related deaths and 79 new cases recorded on the island in the last 24 hours. Funeral home in Lucy, Hanover speaks out following claims by mother that a 2-day-old baby who died in January at the Noel Holmes Hospital is not hers.
It is highly unlikely that a body could be misplaced, switched or mixed up at the funeral home due to the procedures that we have in place.
Still tonight, 2 JDF soldiers arrested in connection with the seizure of approximately 1,500 pounds of marijuana in Gutters, St. Elizabeth last night, and the KSAMC looks at serious mitigation strategies to combat flooding in Kingston and St. Andrew.
Floodplains offer a wide range of benefits to the municipality, so we are concerned about flooding.
Good evening. 5 additional COVID-19 related deaths and 79 new cases were recorded on the island in the last 24 hours. According to the Ministry of Health and Wellness, the deceased are 2 females from Westmoreland aged 53 and 58, 2 males from St. Catherine aged 75 and 72, and a 65-year-old male from Kingston and St. Andrew. Now, 4 of the deaths recorded yesterday were previously reported as being under investigation. Now, the latest fatalities take the death toll from the coronavirus in Jamaica to 151. The 79 newly confirmed COVID-19 cases take the total of cases on record for the island to 7,989. Now, of the newly confirmed cases, 50 are females and 29 are males ranging in age from 6 to 96 years. There are 32 moderately ill and 22 critically ill patients among the 4,304 active cases now under observation in Jamaica. Recoveries increased by 128, taking the total of recovered persons to 3,431. Still making news tonight, the University Hospital of the West Indies, UHWI, in partnership with global healthcare company Novamed, has investigated a new, innovative, high-output and cost-effective testing approach for COVID-19 to significantly increase Jamaica's testing capacity. Now, in a statement released yesterday, the UHWI said that the testing approach was developed by experts in Germany and used in testing efforts in Israel, Germany, and India. Now, the approach, known as pool testing, represents one of the most impactful innovations in traditional COVID-19 testing. Its goal is to be able to drive greater diagnostic output in the local COVID-19 response effort. It is currently being investigated as a research project that could bolster testing output in Jamaica. Medical Chief of Staff at the UHWI, Dr. Carl Bruce said, and I quote, "Pooled testing is done using highly sensitive tests to detect existing positive cases in a single test tube of samples taken from groups of 30 patients. If the group tests positive, all samples are retested individually. By retesting samples individually, it is easier to identify which of the collection tripped the test for the pooled sample. End quote. Now, the team highlighted that pooled testing is an important addition to the COVID-19 testing methods available locally, as it is an effective way to get the country closer to the goal of repeated testing that will help contain the spread of this relentless virus. The team also commended the Ministry of Health and Wellness on a great job with testing, noting its recent approval of antigen tests. In news from Hanover, a funeral home in Lucy is speaking out following claims by the mother of a 2-day-old baby who died in January at the Noel Holmes Hospital that the baby that was shown to her at the morgue last week was not hers. Here is Colleen May with more on this story.
A representative from the Doyle's Funeral Services in Lucy, Hanover says that they want to set the record straight regarding the handling of bodies left in their care. This comes following Sylvia Perry, the mother of a 2-day-old baby who died in January at the Noel Holmes Hospital in the parish, claiming that the body of the baby that was shown to her at the morgue of Doyle's Funeral Services last week was not hers. Tanisha Lincoln, a representative from the funeral home, in speaking with our news team earlier today, explained that there is no possibility of them misplacing a body once it comes in their care, as they follow the proper protocols.
Whenever a body is retrieved from a hospital or any other location, the body is tagged and an entry is made in at least 2 books and computer system as to which storage unit the body is placed in. It is highly unlikely that a body could be misplaced, switched or mixed up at the funeral home due to the procedures that we have in place. No, we would not be able to misplace bodies as they are properly tagged on the location of pickup. They're waterproof, they're placed on the arms, and they're also placed on the exterior after the body is wrapped and ready to be placed in storage. Furthermore, our funeral home does not bury, cremate, or carry out post-mortem without proper authorization from the relevant authorities. We unfortunately have bodies at our facilities for extended periods due to the fact that we must await proper authorization regarding final deposition of the bodies.
Ms. Lincoln also advised Ms. Perry to do a DNA test because they can assure the public that they followed proper protocols to ensure the body of the baby was rightfully tagged and transferred from the Noel Holmes Hospital to the morgue.
In regards to the baby for the mother, we are of the opinion that she should do a DNA test, as with the procedures that we carry through, there would not be a possibility of wrong tagging of the baby. We will never proceed to burial, cremation, post-mortem, no regards to final preparation without proper authorization from the relevant authorities.
Reporting for MELLO TV News, I'm Colleen May.
In news from St. Elizabeth, 2 Jamaica Defense Force JDF soldiers were arrested in connection with the seizure of approximately 1,500 pounds of marijuana in gutters last night. Now, reports coming in the Narcotics Division and the Westmoreland Division attempted to intercept a minivan in the area. However, the occupants of the vehicle reportedly fired upon the team and discarded packages as they attempted to flee. The vehicle was eventually intercepted and 2 men, who were later confirmed to be members of the Jamaica Defense Force JDF, were arrested. The marijuana and the vehicle the men were traveling in were seized. The vehicle is the property of the Jamaica Defense Force. Investigations into this incident are ongoing. In news from St. Thomas, 2 armed men were fatally shot just minutes after a businessman was gunned down in a brazen daylight attack in the parish yesterday. The business operator has been identified only as Debster from the Prospect District section of the parish. The 2 armed men who were fatally shot by the police remain unidentified. Sources have reported that 2 AK-47 rifles were seized by law enforcement officers following the shootout. Now, reports reaching our news center are that at approximately 1 p.m., Debster was at his place of business when he was attacked and fatally shot by 4 heavily armed men traveling in a Honda Fit motor car. Further reports coming into our news center are that while making their escape from the scene of the crime, the armed men were challenged by a policeman. 2 of the attackers were subsequently fatally shot. The 2 others were arrested and 2 high-powered rifles and the motor car that the men were traveling in were seized. In news from the capital, a 65-year-old man from Lucas Road in Rockford, St. Andrew remains hospitalized with injuries he sustained when a section of his house collapsed this morning. The man was rescued from the rubble after persons nearby heard a loud noise and went to investigate. The Jamaica Fire Brigade said its first responders pulled the man from the rubble sometime after 11 o'clock. Now, upon our news team's arrival at the scene where the building collapsed, a neighbor who was close by told us what happened.
Well, I was in the office and we was working and I heard a loud noise. So when I came out, I saw that the building over here had dropped down. So I was discussing with my co-worker that the boss had said the building was going to drop one of these days. So I was saying to her that I hope that the homeless man that normally stay here was not in there at the time. But as we stay at the gate, we hear a voice calling, "Help, help." So we consult the ambulance, the fire brigade. They came, they took him out on a stretcher. I was talking to one of the firemen, and he said he wasn't sure, he couldn't tell us the extent of his injury until he reached the hospital.
Now, another resident who gave his account of what he saw when he arrived on the scene said a section of the house collapsed earlier this year and an elderly man was killed.
This morning when me come, me see the, me understand the building collapse. I wasn't here, you know. I come and see the fire brigade truck them, and the police, and them taking me to the hospital. It's a old building from a longer time, and I know this gentleman, you see, it's not a sound brother, you know. And live over there with the 2 of them, and the building collapsed about 2 months ago, and one died. And as far as I know, last night it collapsed by him. Well, as far as him don't die. He don't die, you know. We know him as Chris. Just know him on the road, you know. Not a talker much, but it was an old structure, and they don't want to tear down a part of it and them living at the room, one at the back. Now they want to know him, you know, so he tear down the rest of the building and leave the one room one at the back. Then stay in there because you know, his head not so wonderful.
Still making news tonight, following continuous flooding in Kingston and St. Andrew, the KSAMC says they are looking at serious mitigation strategies to combat the problem. More on this story with Killeen May.
Mayor of Kingston and the chairman of the Kingston and St. Andrew Municipal Corporation, KSAMC, Councillor Delroy Williams, says the council is looking at serious mitigation strategies to combat flooding in the corporate area.
We are working assiduously and committed to flood reduction and flood mitigation, and that there are some issues that we are focused on. We are looking at the floodplains across the municipality. The floodplains offer a wide range of benefits to the municipality. So we are concerned about flooding. We are also asking for serious dialogue with all the ministries and agencies and the residents and the developers as it respects to developments generally, but developments also that are adjacent or near to watershed areas. The post-development runoff is not in excess of the pre-development runoff. And when we speak about runoff, we are really speaking about the fact that we reduce infiltration into the soil. When you put up buildings and roads and parking lots and so forth, and other structures. And so we are saying that that now provide lanes for water to move quickly to our storm drains. And sometimes, many instances, those storm drains are overwhelmed and there is overflow, and the overflow potentially causes flooding, which lead to destruction of properties and infrastructure. and costing the municipality and the government.
Councillor Williams further said the current drainage network in Kingston and St. Andrew is incapable of dealing with the excess runoff of flood waters from heavy rains.
We have always been very, very consistent in terms of our cleaning of the drainage network across the municipality. And with limited funds that we have, we do our best to ensure that the coastal drains are cleaned and that the critical non-coastal drains are clean, and then generally we do a general clean of as much drains as we can. But generally we don't see any occurrence of flooding arising out of the non-maintenance of our drains. What I believe is a concern, and which the Prime Minister spoke to some time ago, is the clear fact that our drains are overwhelmed and that there needs to be an overhaul of our drainage system, meaning an expansion of our drainage network, because we certainly do have increased runoff from impervious surfaces, and we believe that the drainage network is incapable of dealing with the excess runoff from these surfaces. And that is an issue that we are looking at and doing some studies on, and seeking to find ways in partnership with developers, residents, and other stakeholders, agencies like NAA and NEPA, to ensure that we find approaches that are flood mitigation approaches.
Reporting from MELLO TV News, I'm Colleen May.
In the meantime, the Kingston and St. Andrew Municipal Corporation, KSAMC, has approved a motion to extend the tenure of the current junior council. As such, the existing councillors will carry on until the body is dissolved. Speaking at the KSAMC's monthly meeting at the Jamaica Conference Centre, downtown Kingston yesterday, Mayor of Kingston, Councillor Delroy Williams, explained that due to the coronavirus COVID-19 pandemic, the current crop of the junior councillors has not been able to carry out their responsibilities in the fullest way. He noted as well that given the fact that students are learning remotely, it also poses a challenge to pursue the recruiting and election of new junior councillors. The Junior Council concept is part of activities by the Ministry of Local Government and Rural Development to mark Local Government Month and is hosted by municipal authorities for 1 year. Still making MELLO TV news, the Jamaica Public Service Company says as they continue to improve the efficiency of electricity supply, they will be visiting customers' premises during the months of October and November 2020 to upgrade the meters at these premises to a smart meter. Now the smart meter will provide a number of benefits, including fewer estimated bills and the remote connection of power supply. Persons with questions may visit the link to the brochure on the JPS's website to read their smart meter frequently asked questions FAQs, or call their toll-free number at 888-CALL-JPS or 888-225-5577 Flow, or Digicel at 888-935-5577. And those were the stories making news. I am Shelley-Ann Hill. We'll now take a break and then join Christopher Scott with sports.
Coronavirus is in Jamaica, and I know you feel scared and worried. But you can't let COVID-19 divide us. Coronavirus infects all kinds of people. It doesn't discriminate. So why should you? When someone coughs or sneezes or shows signs of the virus, tell them to call 888-1-LOVE immediately. And remember, stay 3 feet away, but don't attack or disrespect them, because we're all in this thing together. Come on, Jamaica, cut the hate and don't discriminate. Let us stand together and fight COVID-19 as one family, one nation.